Hello guys, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Hope RBI. This video is highly requested and very important for all the aspirants of RBI Grade B as well as SEBI Grade A, because in this video I'll be discussing some of the important points that you need to know for impressive answer writing for the RBI Grade B examination as well as impressive essay writing for the RBI Grade B as well as SEBI Grade A examination. In the first half of the video, I'll be discussing about the descriptive answer writing skills, and afterwards I'll be discussing about the essay writing skills in the second half. So I request you guys to watch the whole video very carefully and get the gist of how to write good material for your upcoming examinations. A little disclaimer here, I have not written descriptive answers actually in any of the mains examinations, and I have not prepared for the UPSC examination as well. What I'm going to discuss here is my own research for my own answer writing skills, which I think will be very beneficial for writing good answers, writing impressive answers. And for the essay writing, I have a little experience in that area. I have written essays in various mains examinations of banking exams, so I can tell you guys in this video what to do, what not to do, what are the important points that you need to know about. So let's begin with the descriptive answers first. For the descriptive answers, for any type of answers that you should write in your paper, it should consist of three important things. Okay, the first thing is your introduction, the second thing is your body, and the third thing is your conclusion. Every answer that you must write in your exam must have introduction, must have a good body, and must have a conclusion. Now you know that RBI examination entails about two types of questions. And in RBI Grade B examination, you have to type the answers. There is no chance of pen and paper. You have to type the answer through a computer keyboard into the computer system. So you will encounter two types of questions. One will be 10 markers, and the second type is 15 markers. The 10 markers will be of 400 word limit and 15 markers will be of 600 word limit. So you have to type in all about 1000 words for two questions, and in totality you will have to attempt two questions of 10 marks and two questions of 15 marks. So your typing speed must be in such a manner that you will be able to complete your answer writing paper in the time given to you. For that you have to practice daily. I recommend you guys to practice typing daily for about 1 to 1.5 hours to improve your typing speed. That is all about the speed. Now about the questions. It is very important for you guys to know that most of the aspirants are preparing for the UPSC examination. Since it is the mains examination is with pen and paper, so there is an advantage for all the aspirants that you can draw some diagrams, you can draw some charts, or you can draw some graphs to depict any kind of changes or trends in your answers to make it more impressive. But in RBI Grade B examination, there is no such entity like pen and paper. You have to type it. So for typing, you have to incorporate all the data that you could have depicted through charts. By typing, you have to depict the data. For example, if the trend is increasing in a particular chart, you have to depict that through typing, which is very important for you guys to do, because that will actually create a good sense of answer writing. That will actually make your answer more impressive by giving the examples, by giving certain things. So that thing also you need to keep in your mind, that you must read all the data according to the graphs in any of the document that you read, according to the charts in any of the document that you read very very carefully, so that you would be able to incorporate that amount of data in your answer writing. So how to write the answers? What will the introduction entail, what will the body entail, and what will the conclusion entail? So this discussion is very very wide, and many people have different opinion, but what I feel is most important and is very much relevant to the answer writing for the RBI Grade B examination is start your introduction with either a definition or a fact. Start your question with a fact. For example, you are depicting a fact regarding the World Inequality Report. So start, if you encounter a question regarding inequality, you can start that by introducing a fact from the World Inequality Report, and after that you will incorporate the definition of inequality, and after that you will move on to the body, that what kind of question is being asked in the examination and what are the points that you need to incorporate in that question. So all of these things that you need to know, that introduction should be started with the definition, if the question asks for a definition, or a fact or a data that you remember regarding that particular question that is being asked. The second is your body. Body should be in reference to the examination or in reference to the question that you are encountering. And conclusion, I will discuss some of the basic questions. You will get the idea of that. For the conclusion, you have to write down the conclusion. You have to conclude what you have written in the introduction and the body. Do not incorporate new points in conclusion. No. Any new point that you remember, you add it into the body, and after that, you use all of those introduction and body parts into the conclusion. Let me erase this whole mess and clarify what I'm actually talking about in this scenario. So let's take a question from last year. There was a question last year which is regarding there was a question regarding Basel norms and pillars of Basel 3. There was a question regarding Basel norms and pillars of Basel 3. So this was the question. As I have already told you, you have to first write down the introduction part. And secondly, you have to write down the body part. And the third, you have to write down the conclusion part. What you can write down in in the introduction part is the definition of the Basel norms. What are Basel norms? And you can give a little bit of history that how the Basel norms were created. There was some kind of committee that actually formed the Basel norms. When it was created, it was, if I correctly remember, it was done in 1974, and there was a meeting from the central bank governors of 10 countries, and they met in in a location called Basel, Switzerland, and there they made a committee regarding the Basel Committee of Banking Supervision. You may know that Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, and they then introduced norms. First of all, the introduction of Basel 1 norm was created, then came the Basel 2 norms, and the latest, which we actually follow in various banking entities, is the Basel 3 norm. So that actually concludes your that actually makes your introduction very, very impressive, that you know the background story of this particular thing, and you have depicted various things, various important historical background or important points regarding this in the introduction part. This makes it very impressive. Now comes the body. In body, you have to emphasize on the Basel 1, 2 and 3 norms, but you have to focus more on Basel 3, because that is what is being asked in the question. You have to emphasize more. Your content of the body should be about 80 to 90% regarding Basel 3, okay, and the rest 20 to 10% should be regarding your Basel 1 and 2. You can give the introduction, what are the risk factors involved and are considered in the Basel 1 norms, what were the requirements that were to be followed according to the Basel 1 norms, what was the CRAR ratio that was requisite in Basel 1 or Basel 2. But afterwards you have to move on to the pillars of Basel 3. So while explaining Basel 3, you have to go into the depth, you have to go into the details, that there were mostly, if I'm not wrong, there were mostly 3 pillars of Basel 3 norm. That is the minimum capital adequacy ratio, the minimum ratios that are required. Second is your statutory norms. What are the norms? How will you identify if a banking entity is at risk, or if the banking entity is not performing according to the norms? What are the basic statutory criteria? That gives the second pillar. The third pillar that you might encounter should be regarding the market discipline, how the market actually works, and with respect to the market working, how is the banking entity working according to the norms which are given in Basel 3. All of these things you can explain it very, very well, and your body should be incorporated. Body should be focusing more on this particular thing, Basel 3, because this is actually asked in the question specifically. That is why you need to focus more on that. And after that, there comes the conclusion. Conclusion part should be really easy for you to conclude, because you have to just jot down that this was the main idea for the Basel norms to be created, and you can incorporate the context of India, that India does follow it. You can also give the latest example. If you might recall that RBI has introduced certain new norms regarding the capital adequacy ratio, which should be incorporated according to the Basel 3. So you can also incorporate that RBI also follows these kind of norms, and it makes it very, very clear that the banking entities within India also follows the Basel 3 norms, so that it would be easier for them to work according to the limits, and cannot go into the bankruptcy or such. All of these things can be concluded very, very easily. Don't include new points in the conclusion, just conclude from whatever you have written before. That is what I meant. That was what I meant by introduction part, your body part, and your conclusion part. One important thing that you need to know about the answer writing is that you might encounter various questions regarding certain words which actually highlight what kind of answer they are looking for. For example, you might encounter the word discuss. Okay, there was an essay. It was also asked in an essay once. My friend has told me he has taken the examination for the IBPS PO mains recently, and there was a essay regarding modern technologies make make our lives easier. And then there was a word discuss. You will be encountering these words a lot in your answers, in your questions, while taking various exams. So discuss in itself means you have to discuss this comprehensively. It's kind of like a paper debate. You not only have to consider the pros of the situation which is being asked in the examination, but you also need to consider the cons of the situation. And at the end, while you are concluding, you have not to actually pick any sides. You have to give the conclusion in a very diplomatic form. You have to jot down the pros and cons, and after that you should focus more on the positive side of that aspect, rather than harshly disagreeing with whatever is being discussed in the essay or question, and you just pick the whole different side. While writing any answer, you should having a constructive criticism. That is very important, because while you are an officer, your mindset should be in the side of having a constructive attitude, rather than just cursing the government or cursing the system. That is not required by an officer. While you are writing the answers, you need to focus more on the constructive criticism than going into the negative points. You need to give the solutions. What solutions can be incorporated, what solutions can be done by the government, so that the given problem is solved. So discuss here, the word discuss is kind of like a paper debate. You have to include the positive points as well as the negative points, and after that you conclude in a diplomatic manner, so that you will make your conclusion more constructive, on a constructive side. That is basically this means. You will also encounter some different words like enumerate, or you will encounter like examine or analyze. All of these things, if we talk about enumerate, that is direct. You only have to write these things. Like for example, enumerate various advantages of a particular thing, advantages of the current banking scenario, or enumerate the advantages of current financial system, or current finance commission. So you only have to jot down points, number 1, number 2, number 3. That is it. One important point: whenever you are writing the body of any answer, giving points will be more impressive than giving a whole paragraph, because the examiner doesn't have any time to read the whole paragraph, like reading a book, right? Like reading a boring novel. That is not required by the aspirants. You have to make answer more interesting, and for that you can jot down good points, so that examiner would see the points very very carefully, which you have mentioned, and accordingly he will mark your answers. The secondly, you can encounter the word examine. For examine, you have to again, it's kind of like a discuss thing. You have to jot down the positive and the negative points as well, and you have to conclude that this particular thing is good. Or this might not be a debate. This might be a simple thing for you, for your own opinion to be mentioned. For example, you encounter a situation. Let's say you encounter a question regarding the technologies, or regarding sustainable development. Very important topic. Sustainable development goals can be achieved by this, by mentioning certain thing. Examine. If you encounter such type of question, you have to give your own opinions regarding the basic things that you are encountering, basic editorials that you are reading in the newspapers. What opinions have you made? And after that you can easily incorporate, after that you can easily frame that particular answer very very impressively. So that is according to the examine or analyze means one and the same thing. Nothing to worry about here. So that is all regarding your answer writing strategy. We can take more example. For example, let's talk about another question that was being asked in the examination. There was a question regarding discuss the five major announcements by the budget. Very straightforward question. You don't need to give too much in-depth particular thing. Your main thing, five major announcements. This should be mentioned in your body. What should be mentioned in your introduction? What is a budget? How is it passed? What article of the constitution allows you to pass a budget? All of those things. Who passes it? basic things. After that, the five major announcement by the recent budget, you can enumerate it in the numerical, in the points form, 1 2 3 4 5, and after that you can conclude that all these points are very much relevant, and this could bring a very a positive impact on the economy, or the particular thing regarding the agriculture. The boost in the agriculture sector will improve financial situation of the country, and will help us achieve the GDP acquisition of $5 trillion by 2024 or 25, whatever the target is. You can incorporate each and everything according to that particular frame. So that was a very basic question. There was also a question regarding there was a very static question regarding the global financial crisis. There was a question that financial crisis and its after effects on the globalization. Very simple question. According to the static point of view, there are not much, great current points to be added in that, because this is of 18th or the 19th century kind of thing. But in this particular question, how can you encounter this question? Same again, introduction, your body, and your conclusion. You can introduce this particular thing, global financial crisis, in the introduction, the history, how it was created, how it was done, what were the basic things that were impacted. Okay, after that, with reference to the globalization, you need to talk about the impacts. So that will be covered in your body part. Okay, in body you can discuss that yes, the global trade was stagnated for a while. These countries encountered biggest financial losses in their entire economic scenarios, and all of these things. And after that, you can also incorporate the India scenario. How did India cope with the global financial crisis, and what was the situation of India's globalization thing at that moment, at that point of time? How was India's economy suffering? And after that, in conclusion, you can always write down that this is how the things recovered, and these were the things that were really creating a sense of hellhole in that particular economy. But at the end of the day, all of the economies which were impacted created a boost for themselves, and they recovered in that particular thing. So that may be concluded in the thing according to the situations written in the body as well as introduction. So that is what I wanted to tell you guys regarding the answer writing. This is the approach which I am actually following for writing my own answers while I'm practicing for my own answers. So if you guys think that I'm lacking somewhere because I have not written answers actually for any mains examination, if you think I'm lacking anywhere, you can definitely let me know down in the comment section, or on the Telegram channel, link will be in the description. Let's talk about the essay writing now. For the essay writing, very important thing that you need to know about is you only have to focus on your English skills. You don't have to focus on your factual knowledge. Please note this thing particularly down. For your essay writing, be it your RBI grade B examination, or SEBI grade A examination, or IBPS PO mains examination, or SBI PO mains examination, your essay should depict, or your essay should reflect your English skills rather than your factual knowledge regarding the topic that is being asked. You don't have to write a WHO report, or a World Development Report. You don't have to cite all of these things while you're writing essays, because in essays all they are needing from you is, are your punctuation skills correct? Are you placing comma in the right place? Are you placing full stop at the right place? Are you giving particular spaces in the correct manner? Are you committing any spelling mistakes or not? And at last, they are seeing that is your essay in relevance to the topic which is asked. That is it. They are not asking you to cite certain factual data kind of report, exact report from a particular source. They are not actually asking you that. They are asking that your English skills should be correct, your punctuation skills should be correct, you should be able to comprehend what is asked here, and you should be able to answer that according to your own language, according to your own aptitude, but in the right English skills, not in the whole data or factual description scenario. That is not required here. For example, that is why, in my opinion, of course you will be reading a lot of things regarding the economic and social issues, or you will be reading a lot of things regarding the finance sector, but while writing the essays, I genuinely think I might be wrong in this, but I genuinely think that while attempting essays, you should be picking philosophical essays or the descriptive essays. Like, for example, there was a good essay like technology. There was a good essay in SBI PO that was asked regarding the gender stereotyping. It's a very good essay, right? There is not much data analysis in this particular thing. It is more opinionated. What do you think about gender stereotyping? What do you think about certain things that should be done by men and certain things that should be done by women? Okay, all of these things can be incorporated in this particular thing. This can be written so easily regarding your discipline, attitude, your dowry system. Most of the essays are very simple, which you might encounter in the essay writing portion of RBI Grade B as well. So, my personal opinion is that while writing the essays, you must pick the essays which do not contain much of the data in them, but are more philosophical, are more opinionated, rather than going into much of the details regarding the data. That is what I'm going to tell here. And for essay writing, in RBI Grade B, if I'm not wrong, the word limit is about 400 to 450 words. It changes all the time. You are not certain what kind of a word limit is there. For the SEBI Grade A examination, the limit is about 200 to 250 words. That is it. And you have to, while I was writing essay, I thought that it was really, I wrote a very impressive essay, but I think where I lacked was the same. I attempted the essay according to the putting on more data information rather than concentrating in my writing skills. I think I did some punctuation mistakes as well. That is why I was not able to score good in the SEBI Grade A examination in the descriptive paper. But now I have seen and taken a lot of tests and written a lot of essays in the mains examination, so I know that this is not what is required in the essay writing. You have to be more concentrated towards the English writing skills rather than your factual knowledge. Your factual knowledge will, though, be required in your finance and management paper or your ESI paper, in your descriptive answer writing, where it is essential for you to give impressive examples to correlate what you are trying to say according to the question that is being asked in the examination. It is very important for you guys to follow this. So that is it for the essay writing as well. And one more important thing that you need to know, that you should not exceed the word limit. It gives a wrong impression to the examiner. I am not actually quite sure whether in RBI Grade B examination an actual examiner will check your paper, or it will be a system, a computer generated system which will be automatically checking your paper. Please let me know down in the comment section. I don't know about this, but even if the examiner is checking your paper, it will give a very wrong impression if you exceed your word limit. Plus minus 10 is fine, or even plus minus 15 is fine, but not more than that or not less than that. Okay, it might be less than that but not more than that. Okay, so your word limit is, suppose it's 400, so you can go to 415 up max, but not more than that. This does not give a good impression to the examiner. And the most important thing is grab the knowledge. Okay, make frame opinions. In this particular scenario, your editorial reading skills are very, very essential for your answer writing, because you can cite some good examples even in the management paper. If you have to cite some real life examples, you can get so many examples from the newspaper itself. That is why I'm saying that it is very essential for you guys to read newspapers. Even if you feel that you don't need to read it, just read it for your own sake, because your aptitude should be so good that it will help you even in the interview section. Okay, not only in the descriptive answers, you can find out various kind of things for your descriptive answers, but for your opinion framing skills, it is very important for you guys to read the newspapers. At least read the editorial sections. Very, very important for you guys. So that is it for today's video. If you have any doubts regarding anything discussed here, you can comment down below. I'll be happy to help you guys. And if you think that I lack somewhere in my own strategy regarding the descriptive answers or essay writing, you let me know down in the comment section, and I will definitely incorporate that particular thing in my own in my own preparation. So thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.